So as we all know, the PC market is absolutely terrible right now. So I thought it would be a little fun in this video to try and build a DDR5 gaming PC, which I already know is not going to go well. Basically, I want to see how much it would cost to build something that's actually decent. So like always guys, I'm going to leave links to everything in the description below, and let's get right into it. All right, so let's start off with something that actually isn't that bad, which is the CPU, where we're going with the Ryzen 5 9600X, which you can get for $174. Now, this is a 6-core and 12-thread chip, of course, on the AM5 platform. It is on Ryzen's newest lineup on the 9000 series, and it also has a pretty low TDP of 65 watts, which is actually why I like this chip a lot. It does not come with a cooler in the box, so we will have to get a third-party one, but overall, for a decent gaming PC, I actually think the 9600X brings a lot of value. Of course, you could consider chips like the 7600X as well, which you can probably get for a little bit cheaper, but I honestly think just getting on the newest Ryzen platform is the best option. Luckily for us though, CPU prices haven't really adjusted too much, so $174 for this chip is actually pretty decent. However, we are going to need a motherboard to plug that CPU into, so the one that we're going with is the GIGABYTE B850M Eagle Wi-Fi 6E, which you can get for $150. And what really sucks about building on the AM5 platform right now is that actually the chips and the motherboards are actually, priced pretty decently. I mean, $150 for an AM5 motherboard that actually has, pretty good features is really impressive to see. So this is a micro ATX board, which of course is on the B850 platform, so it supports any Ryzen CPU from Ryzen 7000 up to 9000, which the 9600X is on. It also has two M.2 slots and a PCIe 5.0, which is nice to see. And overall, it's just a pretty solid board for $150. So this video, guys, isn't going to be a full build guide. I'm going to be showing you guys the parts and the prices and all that, and you're going to see me building the PC anyways, but I'm not really going to go too in depth. If you do want to see a proper build guide, I will leave links to some of the videos that I've made previously, some of the ones that I've actually recently made. So if you are looking for something like that, I would check the description. I'll link you guys to some really good videos. But yeah, just like that, we have the 9600X installed. All we had to do is put it into the slot and then lower the levers. So we are now able to move on to the CPU cooler. And the one that we're going with is the Thermalright Assassin X120, which you can get for $18. So this is a single tower air cooler that comes with one PWM fan. And honestly, this is one of the best value CPU coolers you can get right now. It supports basically every platform, so whether you're building on AM4, AM5, or on an Intel platform, they all work just as well with this cooler. It also handles CPU coolers up to 100 to 125 watts, so our 65 watt 9600X is going to perform really well with this cooler. And yeah, basically, Thermalright has built a reputation on building really good and cheap coolers, not just air coolers, but also AIOs, so, really easy to recommend. You're getting just a lot of value from using this. I know I mentioned that I said this won't be a build guide, but there is a chance that it just becomes one just because, I'm just explaining what I'm doing. But basically just gonna remove these brackets here because we will need to install the brackets that come with the cooler itself. Then once the bracket is off, we're basically going to take these pink standoffs and we're just gonna put them right in the place where we just took off the bracket, just kind of hovering them over it. Then with these two brackets, we're basically just going to line them up with the standoffs we just placed down and basically just screw them right into it. All right, and then once the brackets are installed, we're just gonna remove this fan from the heatsink, and then basically what we're gonna have to do is just screw these down right onto them. So very simple. Before that though, we will have to add some thermal paste. So just gonna take some of this and we're gonna put some in the middle here. Then we're just gonna line up the cooler with the brackets we just installed and then screw them down evenly. So basically we're gonna screw some on this side and then on this side until they are fully even, just so there's a, even pressure on the CPU itself. All right, and then we're just gonna attach the fan back onto it, and then we're just gonna plug this wire right into the CPU fan cooler on the top here. So now that it's plugged in, basically this CPU is now installed with the cooler itself. So we can now move on to the next part. And this is where we get to the fun part, which is the RAM. Now, the one that I have in my hands here is the T-Force Vulcan DDR5 kit at 32 gigabytes at 6000 megahertz, and you can get this for a whopping $450. So just to put this into context, I bought this about a year ago, and this was already when the prices started becoming, kind of bad, and I bought it at 280 Canadian. So in American pricing, maybe around 200 US, which was already considered expensive. And a year later, or about, probably like 9 or 10 months later, it's double that at $450, which is absolutely insane. Now, of course, if you get a deal, you could possibly get it for a lot cheaper. I mean, this kit itself is going for $450, but there's probably some that are going closer to $400. But at the time when RAM wasn't the talk of the town and everything was so expensive, basically 32 gigabytes, 6000 megahertz parts was exactly what you wanted. It paired well with Ryzen CPUs, and especially with games started to use more RAM, it basically was seen as the sweet spot. But nowadays, the kit that I bought that was already expensive is even more expensive. So realistically, for a lot of people, you know, going DDR5 just doesn't make a lot of sense unless you, of course, are just super rich and have unlimited budget. Luckily, to get this installed, it's just as simple as any other RAM stick. We just have to open up the second and the fourth slot, and then we're simply just going to line it up and press it in with low pressure until we hear a click on both sides. There we go. So just gonna do the same for the other stick, and just like that, our $450 RAM is in our motherboard. Wonderful. Now, another sneaky part that has also gotten more expensive is SSDs. Now, the one that I'm using is the T4Z44A7Q 1TB Gen 4 drive, but the one I have linked below is from Patriot. It's the P400 Lite. It's also a 1TB drive, but you can find it for $150. The one that I have here, you actually can't find right now. But basically, it's the exact same SSD in terms of specs and generation. I know you could technically support PCIe 5.0 SSDs at this moment, but I haven't been able to find a good price on one recently, and since this is for gaming, it won't be a huge difference when we're actually playing. But to get this installed, very simple. We just have to take off this heatsink that is covering the SSD slot, and then we're just going to slide this into place down here into the top slots, and then we're just going to lock it down with this mount. And very simple to get this installed. We're just going to reinstall the heatsink here. We use it like that, and SSD is now installed. Everything is now plugged into the motherboard. So with all this installed, we can now move on to the case. All right, and for the case, we are going with the GAMDIAS Atlas M5, which you can get for $100. Now, GAMDIAS did send this out for me to try out, so this is my first time building in this case, but they haven't paid me anything, so there is going to be no talking points. This is basically just what I know from the spec sheet and, you know, actually building in the case. So this is a full ATX mid tower, so we can fit an entire, you know, ATX motherboard if we wanted to. It also comes with 3 pre-installed ARGB fans. So basically you have the back fan back here, which is of course pushing air out. And then we also have these 2 fans over here, which are doing the same. So it can actually support, just as you can see, 3 up here, 3 down here. So it can actually support up to 9 fans, which is pretty impressive. And one of the things you guys may have noticed is that first off, there isn't, you know, the glass panel on right now, but it actually is a panoramic design. So this entire side panel and front panel is actually one piece. It has a little curve on this side, so it looks really sick, especially when you're trying to look inside, and once the RGB is on, it should look pretty nice. And then of course we get all the IO on the side here. We also have a USB-C port, which is nice to see. We will be able to use that in this build. So overall, first impressions, it looks pretty good. We have a lot of mesh all over, so easy to clean out. So let's get our motherboard in here and get started. So all right, and with now everything screwed in, we can now move on to the back side where we're going to pre-route some of the wires coming from the case. All right, so on the back side, we have a couple of case wires that we need to route. So I'm not going to go too in depth in this video, as I mentioned earlier, but we have like the USB 3.0, USB-C, HD audio. So just going to pre-route this now to make it easier, and then we're going to plug it into the motherboard. All right, and with everything pre-routed, I already got everything plugged in. So we have, you know, the ARGB controller plugged in over here. The case fans are all plugged into the one up here, and then we have the USB-C, USB 3.0 on the side here, and then on the bottom left and the bottom over here, we have the power switch and the HD audio. So everything plugged in now and routed properly. With that all plugged in, we can now move on to the power supply. And the one that we're going with is the MSI Mag A750GL, which you can get for $90. So this is a 750 watt 80 plus gold unit. So basically this is very efficient and it's going to work great with the rest of the parts in this build. But by far the most important part for me personally is that it's fully modular. So we only need to plug in the wires that are actually going to be used, compared to a non-modular power supply where every single wire is plugged in. So even ones that we don't need, we're still going to have to, you know, fit it into the case. As you guys can see here, you can notice that there are ports for all the different types of things that we can plug in. So we're just going to go into here, find some of the wires that we need and plug them in. All right, so what we're going to do is take our power supply here. We're going to slide it into the slot with the fan facing down, and then we're going to screw it in with the little bracket on the side here. All right, so with the power supply now locked in, we can start pre-routing some of these wires. For example, this 24 pin, which we're going to put through here. And then the CPU one is going to go in this top right gap over here. And then there is actually a little gap for the PCIe one down below here. It's going to be kind of hard to see, so I'll try to show you guys a different angle with some B-roll, but going to try our best to try to route it through this gap. I've always found these so hard to do, but makes just the build a lot cleaner. All right, and now that we're on the front side, we're going to start plugging in some of these wires, first with the 24 pin and then the CPU one in the top left here. And then of course, the last thing we have to plug in is the PCIe wire, but we have to get the GPU first. So let's let's get onto that. All right, and for the GPU, the one that we're going with is the ASUS AMD Radeon RX 9060 XT 16GB, which you can get for $480. So alongside RAM and SSDs, GPU prices have also gone up. So especially for a GPU that has a lot of VRAM like this one, 16GB, it definitely has gone up in price a lot. But even so, I still think the 9060 XT is definitely one of my favorite cards, especially because of that VRAM. And especially since we're targeting 1440p, having more VRAM is just going to make things a lot easier, especially with games starting to use more. But simply what we're gonna do is slide this into the PCIe slot and then lock it down with that screw. Then just gonna take the PCIe wire that we routed earlier and then plug it into the card. All right, but with now the GPU installed, this PC is now fully complete. Alright, but with that guys, what is the total for this entire gaming PC? Well, after counting everything together, the total that we got is $1,612. Now, I'm gonna sit here and say that is a good value build. Absolutely not. This is just the reality of what we're working with, especially when you're trying to build on a platform that uses DDR5. There definitely are some ways that we could have saved here, especially if we were trying to do some deal hunting and we try to get a good deal on the RAM. But yeah, we already made some cuts here. For example, we're on a Gen 4 drive, so we are not even getting on the newest platform. Realistically, this build last year would have been, almost, $400 or $500 cheaper, which is pretty insane to say. But with that, I'm gonna show you guys some benchmarks so you guys can see how this PC actually performs. But with that guys, that is my experience of building a DDR5 gaming PC in 2026. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll leave links to everything in the description below. So I'll see you guys all in the next one.